Hi everybody, welcome to Lena, Unedited. It's cold, I'm in the park. It's a Friday, so I'm recording this the day I'm actually going to pop it up on the YouTube. The topic I wanted to talk about today is about how we view rest and the thought of rest and how mentally we think about it. And the reason for that is I've had a really busy week, in a good way, lots of stuff going on. I feel really productive, but it is winter time and I do suffer quite badly from the seasonal change coming into winter. And it's also 27 days until Christmas, and I know a lot of you are going to be really super busy, rushing about, doing lots of things from a business perspective, doing lots of things from a career perspective, and doing lots of things from a personal perspective as well, because there's presents to buy and trees to put up, and there's a lot going on at the moment. So it made me think about the fact that pretty much every day this week I've achieved quite a lot, but I've also had some mornings where I've had to maybe lie in a bit more, or there's been times where I've just needed to get out of the house and go for a walk. Like yesterday, desperately mentally needed a rest, even though I was in the middle of doing some work on a project. And I get the guilt. I want to talk about that, about what is it that makes me get the guilt about that thought of, I need a rest. I think some of it, I think about where it's coming from and how long I've had it. Did it start, right back when I was a kid? Was it in school, at work? Where did it come from? And some of it does come from, and this is not a negative thing, by the way, about to my parents. Being really clear to my parents, this is not about you guys having done anything wrong. But you're really both really hard workers, and I know my dad particularly loves doing stuff all the time, and he loves being busy and all the rest of it. So there's a positive, I've always had a positive view of hard work and doing lots of things, and I think with having the type of brain I've got as well, which has usually got a million ideas, a million thoughts, a million projects, it's not an unusual thing for me to want to be doing stuff all the time. Like even when I sit watching a movie or watching a television program, I'm usually having to cut out some things out of a magazine, or I'm needing to do some knitting, or I do some social media. I'm always having to do more than one thing, which is a bit odd. I know not everybody's like that, but a lot of people are, and especially at this time of year when we're really, really busy. So I wanted to address how long it's been there. Definitely that starting point with being brought up with a really hard-working household. I think it then carried on into school. I was an A student, and I like achieving things, but I didn't achieve my A scores, my scores being an A student, easily. I had to always work really hard for it. Maybe because in hindsight it was, that inability to focus a lot of the time, so I'd have to try even harder. It definitely carried on through my working career. The first job I ever had was headed up by a self-made millionaire, Mr. Cliff Cook, who is now weirdly over here in the UK somewhere. I must check him out. I worked really hard from the outset. My boss, who was my mother-in-law at the time, Carol Bolton, she was a hard worker too. She would pick me up early in the morning. We'd get to work. It was not unusual to work till 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night on a semi-regular basis. It was a business that was up and coming and growing really hard, and it was growing. It carried on in the rest of my career. I kind of set a standard for that, always on, rushing, doing lots of things, don't let up. And in the past I used to, if I was tired or I needed to focus and really get something done, I would just double down. And a lot of the reasons why I ended up getting sick it brings me on to another part of it, is when you need a rest, whether it be mentally or emotionally or even physically. There's a book out there, and I'll put it in the notes, called The Body Keeps the Score. And I know for a fact that when you don't listen to your body, when it's trying to tell you need a rest, even though every fibre in your mental space tells you to keep going, keep working. And I think it comes from the fact that, you tell yourself in this story, if you need to have constant rest, then you're lazy, or you're weak, or you're not very good, or this rhetoric crap goes on in your head that you tell yourself. So I guess the thing I have been working on the last couple of years is a theory, a methodology really, which is slow down in order to speed up. So I had a lot of stuff to get done today, so I got up super early. Normally I don't get to my desk till like 10 o'clock in the morning-ish. This morning I was at my desk by just after 8, got a coffee, knew I had to get lots done. Was going to try and work the entire day up until like 5, 6 o'clock. Flatmate was going away, so I was going to have some headspace and some quiet space. And my body said something else. My brain said something else. Now, don't get me wrong, I have got lots done today. I've got a big weekend coming up. I've got a new artist being launched tomorrow. Steph, shout out to Stephanie. Brent, watch out for her. On the FGSQ Gallery website, she's going to be launched tomorrow. So I can't even do it now when I'm trying to be doing something else, thinking about a million things. But my body was saying you need to go and take a rest. And I'd been wanting to go outside to do this since this morning. I had lots of things to do though, and I just thought, nope, got to soldier on. And that's one of the things we tell her, got to soldier on. What the fuck does that mean? Ridiculousness, actually. And I think, no, we don't need to soldier on. And I am working really hard to change the rhetoric that's going on in my head, which is why, despite the cold, put my hat on, put my gloves on and everything, I have come outside because A, I know it's going to be really good for me, but B, I wanted to make sure I did this recording and wanted to talk about this particular topic and also talk about the fact that, rest, in some ways, I was holding it out as a bit of a reward to myself today, which is not great either, in hindsight. I was thinking, if I get this and that done, then I can go out. Oh no, hang on a minute, if I do this and this, then I'll get that done. Then I'm allowed to go out. Like it's this dangled carrot of rest as a reward. And I think I need to continue to work on rest not being the reward, but rest being a right, rest being something that should automatically be something I just take when I need to. I think it's good for the mind, it's good for the body, it's good for creativity. So then I started thinking about what would happen if I'd just taken the whole day off and decided to give myself a whole day of rest. Now, there are some things I wouldn't have achieved. I would have had to have got up super early on a Saturday because I am launching a new artist tomorrow, so I would have had to have done a whole lot more work tomorrow than what I've done today. But there would have been some benefits. I think there would have been some headspace that would have allowed me to have even more creativity. There would have been, when there's headspace, I can come up with more ideas. I am definitely more creative. A lot of cool stuff goes flooding into my head. Being out and about, taking photographs today, which I am still going to do in a minute. Hopefully they won't get too dark. I'm going to go take some photographs. Yesterday I did a bit of a fungi hunt. I'm going to continue that today because I only did one little tiny corner of the space. Funnily enough, I was talking to my friend Jenny when I was doing that. I was talking to her while I was taking photos and looking for fungi. So shout out to Jenny. So it's interesting. It's like, I think a lot of us have to try and maybe have a different relationship with rest, a different relationship with slowing down occasionally, maybe not even occasionally, on a daily basis. Do we need to pencil it into our routine? Do we need to pen it into our routine? It's for old school people like us that still write things down. Some of you young ones might want to put it into your digital diaries or what have you. Well, whatever it is that you need, I think we do need to start having a really good think about our relationship with rest. How do we view it? Maybe we need to ask ourselves how we view it. Do we do it enough? Do we dangle it out like a carrot? Do we, give ourselves the time to listen to our bodies when it is telling us that we need to rest? when we're getting brain fog, is that part of just not giving it enough rest? Who knows why? There's a whole lot of reasons why our bodies do what they do. But then there is a lot of studies out there that are telling us. That book in Point of The Body Keeps the Score. It has been absolutely proven without an absolute scientific doubt that any kind of lack of sleep, lack of rest, lack of looking after oneself, mentally, physically, emotionally, is read by our entire body systems as trauma, which I find fascinating. And what's really interesting is the direct link between trauma of any type and things like what I've got, which is fibromyalgia, and some of the other challenges, chronic illnesses. Chronic illness and physical, mental and emotional trauma are categorically linked. And I think one of the things I would advise everybody to do today is go away, ask yourself those questions like, what is our relationship with rest? How do we view it? Do we need to change how we're viewing rest? And do we need to start structuring it into our days somehow, that we have a genuine check-in with ourselves about how we're doing for the day? And the rest may not have to be very long, but what we have to get away from is this guilt trip bullshit that we give ourselves about taking a rest in the first place. It's stupid, not recommended. I can definitely tell you what happens when you don't do it on a regular basis, and that is what I got, which is many, many chronic illnesses. Not worth it. Definitely not worth it. So, and the other thing is the rhetoric, that we have in our heads definitely needs to be addressed, I think, especially in the run-up to Christmas and all the busyness and so forth. So, yeah, that's kind of my chat today. My bit of advice is think about what rest actually means. Think of all the benefits you could have if you took more rest. Would there be a much bigger plus side to it than not taking the rest, when we usually just double down and carry on and dip our heads in and ignore everything? So yeah, that's kind of it from me today. I'm going to carry on walking because my hand's getting cold, and I forgot to bring a glove, so it was a bit silly. But one thing I do want to ask you all to do is, if you could, categorically would be helping me if you would like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me how you're getting on with the things that I've sort of maybe mentioned that you could have a go at. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me today. So thank you everybody for listening, and we'll see you next time. Have a good weekend. See you later, everybody. Bye.